Shay's hairstylist. Today's video is going to be about my experience of buying a house and why I bought one and what were my options and what exactly happened. I was paying the rent perfectly fine. Then I got a notice that they were going to raise my rent 10% when the lease renewed. And so my rent raised 10%. And so then it was the next year, 2024. So I found out that they were bought. I got a notice saying that they were bought. And they were bought by this company that I recognized as, well, they were being managed by a company and they were bought by this company that, like the management company I recognized and the owner I recognized, like they're people that operate apartments. And I recognized them as being one of those investors that buy apartments like the one I lived in, which were fair market rent, and they turn them into market rent after so many years. And then I kind of did some more research and found that that's what the management company did also. So I know that with these fair market rent apartments in the greater Cleveland area, they start off at like 15 years. And then after 15 years, they can choose to stay fair market rent and still get their tax incentives and all their benefits and go another 15 years, or they can opt out, and at 30 years, they always opt out and they go into luxury. And that's what they've been doing. So I was told, I asked the management company prior to me signing the lease with these new people that bought the place. I had a long time before the next lease. The lease I had was with the prior people because it was in the middle of when they were doing their sales and when the place was for sale. So I found out that they were going to raise the rents considerably in the apartments, and they said they're going to do all kinds of stuff, and and so they were going to raise my rent 10% a year, and they said I could move into a smaller place, which was a 2-bedroom. I lived in a 3-bedroom townhouse with a garage, and I could move into a 2-bedroom. So I did my research. I liked the 2 bedrooms. I didn't have such great neighbors, but I lived there many decades, and if they were going to do what they were going to do, I was going to run into problems within the next 5 years of being priced out of my apartment and being forced to move anyway. Because they were going to luxury rent, market rent, from fair market to market rent, which was luxury, which would have been unaffordable for me. And I knew that a lot of the apartments in the area were not places I ever wanted to live. I lived in some of them and they were really bad, drug infested areas, and I didn't want to walk in the parking lot to get into the apartment, walk up a flight of stairs, no washer and dryer hookups, a shared washer and dryer, no washing machines in the apartments, no dishwashers, just a sink, garbage disposals, some of them, like different places. And I didn't want those things like that, and they would have been small apartments anyway. So I chose to start looking, and I really wanted a condo, but condos were out of reach because they're pretty expensive. You have to pay like HOA fees, and HOA fees range anywhere from $300 to $900. And then you pay your mortgage on top of it, plus your taxes and insurance. So that was crazy. So then I was looking into manufactured homes. Manufactured homes are basically, trailer homes in a trailer park. And I was looking into that, where you pay a lot rent and then the trailer. The trailer you pay separately, that's what you own, and then you pay rent for the lot. So you don't have to pay for any outside hookups, maintenance, no gas lines, no water lines, no cutting of trees, none of that stuff. The only thing you own is your trailer. So, but they're $900 to $1,000 a month. It might be more now. I was in 24. That's the lot rent. That is not the price of the trailer. That's not taxes. That's not insurance. That's not utilities. Some of the trailer parks include like sewage, like the sewage, the water, and the trash. Not all of them did. But you either had to pay like propane, either gas or all electric, or a combo of all three. So like a lot of them were like around $40,000 that were used, $30,000 some, but you couldn't get a conventional loan for those. You had to get a special loan, and they had stricter regulations on that. So those were untouchable. So the interest rates were pretty high, and they're higher now. So I really couldn't afford much of a house, and there were bidding wars at that time in 24 still, where I live. And there are very few houses, and a lot of investors bought all the good ones, and then they flipped them and sold them for more than what I could afford. So I had to find what I could. I found a small house in a decent neighborhood, pretty close to where I used to live, not in the same city, a little bit further, about 10 more minutes away from where I'd like to be. It's on a corner lot. I don't like that. It's less than 700 square feet. I don't like that. But that doesn't include my basement. I have a basement. I have a garage. I have a deck breezeway. I got like land, a little bit of land, but no backyard. I just have side yards, front yards. They're stricter on regulations with corner lots, but I could afford a corner lot, and I really don't care about fences. I really don't. I mean, I pretty much can plant a garden in the yard, and I can hang out in the yard if I want to, but I tend not to because it's on a corner lot and I think I might look weird. So, I just kind of mow it. I want to show you my deck area. I have to repaint this deck, and it needs a little bit of repairs, but this is it. I got this table from Home Depot, and I sanded it and stained it. It's pretty cool. This is my rocker. I got this one from Lowe's. Like the first year I lived here. This is like a little area here. I do a lot of planting in here in the summertime. It's my little rat. It's pretty neat. Make sure it's covered, so it's dry. Just always make sure it's just to have it. My little rat. There we go. Just like that. just a little plant I planted there, and I have it in like a planter. Those are little spinners that I took down because they were kind of annoying. Tomato plants here. I've gotten a lot of cherry tomato plants off that. And that's just my water for plants. But I had hanging plants here. I took them down because I kept on smacking my head on it. It's so zen. There's my essential air unit. I have to redo those pavers. But this is my yard. It's pretty big for a side yard. And this looked better the other day. But I do not know why these lights aren't working. I've replaced them twice. They don't work over on the side. They're only working on this side. It's so annoying. I can't figure out why. I think it's because of the street light. It just makes it seem like daylight or something. But right here I've got tomato plants. And a deer was over here and he pushed like a bunch of my tomato plants down. And I just kind of did this. I had those little spinners in there and they just looked annoying. So I could probably put more tin on these. I got a side yard over here. You know, I got all that. My grass seeds growing back. My lawn was in bad shape. There's my little stoop. I just wish that light would work on this side. It's the second one I've gotten. Why aren't these things working? I don't understand why it's not working. I give up on it. I'm gonna get some different type of lights for that because I really wanted little fairy lights. But they're not working there. But I planted all these here. Planted the rose bushes. I got one here and I've got one over here. Let me show you. It's like dark out. And I got a garage too. And I can walk barefoot in my yard, fine. It's pretty cool. I have my little breezeway and just little gardening in the front. I wish I had a backyard. I wish I had a bigger house. I mean, I like having a garage, but I could do without a garage as long as I had my own driveway and an option to put a carport over it or something. But other than that, I had a lot of work done on this house, and you get repairs that you have to do to houses, and things just kind of add up, and then you do things that you shouldn't do because you're stupid when you buy a house and you want things to be pretty. I fixed the gutter. I might be able to get another 15-inch pipe on here and put it down here and then just have the gravel here. But I have to go buy it. But that part was like that, and then they kicked it out like this, and it was just flooding back here, so it wasn't gonna work. So I had to put it this way. So now I gotta get another 15-inch extender and hook it to it, put it here,
put that under it, put a whole bunch of gravel here, like, you know, make it like a waterfall type thing, and it kicks out away like this at an angle. So that's what I got to do. I put this in here and the screws. Not too good at it. It was kind of really hard to do. It was the first time I did it, and then I did put it there. It was better. I didn't realize you had to cut it, so that's what I did. This one I kind of, if I have to redo it, then I'll have to redo it, and I'll have to put a harness up further and go a little bit further up and do it that way. And then it might come out straight if I do that, so I might eventually redo that. Of course, when I go to do any landscaping or put any pots out, this has to happen immediately. Oh, what's happening with my grass seed? Can you tell? I finally figured it out. My kitchen set up, I think. There's my kitchen table. I put this here halfway. I had it over here before, but it was blocking both windows. And I figured out I'll just move this cabinet over here and roll it. If not, I could take that pantry, put it over here, and have a rolling cart over there. Either or. We'll see how it plays. I could even just put my pantry in the basement. I take my rolling cart out. Not worried about it. Take my rolling cart out, put my pantry over here. Just have one thing, have a small pantry with the microwave thing. Or I could just put yeah. But I was binge watching a lot of shows, and one I watched was Stranger Things, and I painted this painting, and it was an inspiration for it. It's kind of funny. It is funny. It's weird. I have still not bought myself living room furniture. I have the same couch, and my table is all messed up over there. You want a washing machine, you want dishwashers, you want appliances, you know, things like that. You want new countertops, you want your kitchen cabinets painted, like stuff like that. But I didn't go crazy. I stayed within a budget, and I'm still okay with that. So it's been 2 years, and I'm in a predicament where I really miss renting, but I know if I go back to renting, there is no place for me to go. And I'm not able to get a condo yet, which is what I would love to get, is a condo. But then I thought, well, maybe I would like to live in a trailer park. So I would have to get enough equity into my house in order to purchase a trailer. So I don't know. Some of the trailer parks I think I would like, but you don't build equity in them. But I mean, I think I would like living in the trailer park if I just paid the lot rent, but not in every trailer park. There's only like one I would want to live in. So, but the other ones, I don't like them so much. There's just one I would like. And that depends on my situation at the time and what they have, and like when I start looking. But I mean, a different type of house I would prefer.
but I would like to go back into renting, but that's not an option to do. That is not an option whatsoever to do. And I don't know how long and what's going to happen and how long I'm going to be at this house, but I kind of have a premonition that I'm going to move forward from here. And I think that the timing will be just right, and the place I want to live at will be there. There's a city I'd like to live in, and it's a city right next to where I used to live, but I would love to live in the city where I used to live, where I rented for decades, and I would love to get a condo there or a small house. I would like a small house there, like bigger than this one, I just want, basically, I want 1,000 square feet. That's what I want. I want a 3-bedroom house. I don't want a basement. I really don't care for a garage, but I would prefer to have a garage attached. I would like a garage. I want a backyard fenced in. I really don't want a front yard. Nope. I want a sunny backyard. I want to be able to have a big, nice big garden. I don't want a swamp infested, weed infested house. And I care less about whatever the neighbors do. I really don't care. I don't care what they do. I really don't. But that's what I've been up to. That's why I bought a house, and it can happen to anybody. I mean, I'm glad that I saved prior to this and that I had the intuition to kind of do some research, because a lot of my old neighbors probably are still unaware of the situation that they're in. And there's hundreds of them. They're just gonna be like freaked out. There's gonna be well over a few thousand people that are gonna be displaced, because that's how these apartment places work. You know, if you count, like, people are just not going to be able to pay the rents one year, so they're going to move. Then more people are going to move in, and they're going to move, and that's what I mean by thousands. And then when it happens, people are going to be scrambling, and people will probably just move out of the county, you know, because it's just crazy. Places are too expensive. Unless they want to live at those slummy apartments. Some of those places were so bad. I lived at one place that later caught fire. I was like, man, they were that bad. Electrical wiring and stuff like that. But, I mean, when I lived there, I mean, I liked the inside. I took care of my place. They really didn't do much maintenance ever. They were there doing maintenance maybe 3 times in the past 2 decades. And the last time that I needed maintenance done, they didn't even do it. They just kind of just like blew me off. I didn't have my central air working for about 2.5 months in the summertime of 24 when I was moving. So they didn't really care, you know. So that was that, and I knew that they were just going to just get me out of there, so that's what their plan was, to just get people to move out. And then that way they can get higher rents and make more money for the apartments and the owners and stuff like that. There was one other apartment I was thinking about moving to, and then I'm like, no. Oh, heck no. I'm glad I didn't move there. I'm glad I didn't move there. Oh gosh, I'm glad I didn't. I would have hated that. Would have hated it so much. But other than that, I mean, that's what it's like being a homeowner. You really have to think about what's going to happen in your future when you're renting, because at any moment that could happen to you. Like, somebody buys it and you think a place is fair market rent. They only go 15 years at a time, and most places have been going, this will be their 30th year, because they haven't built very many new ones. And like our county, they're just going to build more projects and stuff. And those places, they might look nice on the inside. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll move to the projects and get sick of being a homeowner. I don't know, but I really didn't want to move up there. I like being close to the lake. I live within walking distance to the lake. That's kind of nice. That's kind of cool. I was saying I live by the lake, you know, but I mean, it wouldn't feel like a place to live if I didn't live close to the lake. I've always been pretty close to the lake for decades. I've lived close to the lake. I used to live more away from Lake Erie before, and not too far, another 15 minutes, and it was just different. And I grew up like a little bit more in the boonies, like, and it was different than living by the lake. And what I mean by there is just more, my eyes watering, the light's doing it. There is just more things to do, like more activities. Because yeah, I know it's like the sidewalks are more walkable. There's people walking their dogs. It's more afternoon bike rides. I mean, there's more things to do by the lake, like riding bikes, all kinds of stuff. That's what I like about living by the lake. But I mean, when I lived further in, like another 15 minutes the other way, it was like maybe you could walk to your neighborhood bar. Maybe. The grocery stores, they weren't close. This way I get to Walmart pretty easy. I just go one straight direction by the lake. I mean, that's about it. But I moved basically because of the convenience, because I was getting priced out of the rental market. And if I didn't act when I did act, I probably would have spent my savings and I wouldn't have been able to get a house. And so that in the future I could get the house that I want. But I really didn't want to own a house. I would prefer to rent. So that's why I think, I don't know, maybe if I get enough equity into this place, then maybe I can get a condo or a trailer or even a house that doesn't have such things as this, you know, like something I like better. But you got to start somewhere, and sometimes you got to start at the bottom of the barrel, even though you used to live someplace that was a lot better. And being a homeowner, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. When I rented, I really liked where I lived at. I just wish they were for sale for me. I just wish that those apartments were available for me to buy. And I think that within 2 years, I am going to move. 2 years. Not this coming year, but the next year. I believe that I will move. And I just have a premonition that I'll move into a place I really like, and I'm going to be super happy that I did. And I gotta start dating here. I mean, seriously, all I think about is this stupid house. And I make fun of my house like constantly. I do. I call it names, you know, to people, and I'm so mean to it. And it treats me so nice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, like and subscribe. Bye.